Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of Valpo Basketball Weekly, presented by our friends at Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute. Brandon Vickery with you. Glad to be joined by the head coach of the Valpo men's basketball program, Roger Powell Jr., as we look back at week one of the season and we get you ready for a big matchup on Tuesday night at the Arc. More on that in a few minutes. Coach, I want to start with the fact that seven players finished in double figures in the game on Friday night, and you've talked about this concept of strength in numbers. How has the depth of your team improved from a year ago, and how important is that to your program?
Well, it's improved a lot. We have a lot more players that can, step on the court and score. Obviously, we needed that. It's a long season, tough league, and I usually, for the most part, like to make a schedule that is somewhat challenging to prepare us for conference. And we have some good games come up here that we're going to use a lot of guys. We have a bunch of games in a short amount of days, so having that depth is going to be huge. But really excited about the players that we have and the future because these guys for the most part are unselfish. They enjoy playing together, and that's the signs of a program starting to kind of shift.
One of those players that's been a fun story here in the early stages of the season is Tyler Schmidt. 17 points against Liberty on 7 of 8 shooting. What stands out to you about Tyler, and what do you like about what he brings to the table?
Well, the good thing about Tyler is, I mean, he gives us a guy that's played a lot of college basketball. I know it's not the Division I level, but anybody that's scored over 2,000 points and been a part of winning, and it's gonna translate to any level of college basketball. I think you're seeing that with him. Love the fact that he's a Valpo kid too, and for him to be able to play here at Valparaiso University, came to camp growing up, and to be able to have his last year here and making some plays and having some big games. I'm sure he's going to have many more big games for us this year. It's a pretty cool story. Now I'm happy to be able to kind of provide that opportunity for that young man.
Other story I wanted to ask you about was Lucas Scroggins. It was fun to watch him play and some of the dunks on Friday night. But to kind of take us behind the scenes of him redshirting a year ago, what that process was like, and how he developed during that season that's going to help him this year and going forward.
I love redshirting. I think for us at Valpo and just this landscape of college basketball, redshirting is a great way for you to get older from within. And for Lucas, he's a guy that I knew we would have to develop. He's still not fully developed yet, but to have him get some meaningful minutes and to see, I mean, he didn't miss a shot. See him be athletic and finish above the rim. I mean, that's what he can do, and he's just going to continue to get better as he gets more time. And he put on weight in the off season, and I'm excited about him, excited about his future. But he has some things that you can't teach, and that's great length and great athleticism and explosiveness. So this next matchup against a team with some bigger players and more athletic guys is going to be huge for him to kind of hopefully continue to take strides. But he is a freshman, and although this is his second year here, this is his first time playing college basketball. So I'm excited to see him develop and grow more.
He came in was to help bring the energy back to the arc, and it seemed like some of that energy was starting to come back on Friday night. What's your message to the fan base, and what were your thoughts in terms of the student support and the community support on Friday?
Oh, they were great. And I went over to the student section afterwards and thanked them for coming. We're going to meet them tomorrow night. And I think that's something that is growing. I mean, even last year as the season went on, we competed a lot of games. Our fans are right there. You saw the numbers kind of growing and the energy starting to come back. And, for our first game against, Concordia and Arbor, man, I was really impressed with the turnout. And I think for, Cleveland State coming up here, kind of like a old conference rival, a good team that's won 21 games last year. I mean, this is going to be a good challenge for our team. I'm excited to see how the community and the students and everyone comes out again to support us.
You touched on it. Let's elaborate more on the big matchup tomorrow night. What are some keys? What else can you tell us about Cleveland State?
You look at their record, and they're 2-1, but they went to Michigan and went to Cleveland State, and they had kind of like us a non-D1 at home. But the game last 2 nights ago against Cleveland, Kansas State, I mean, they forced them to turn the ball over 19 times. That's a really good Kansas State team, and they had 18 offensive rebounds against a good Kansas State team. So it's going to be a challenge. They're good. They compete. They're physical. And they have depth too. They play a lot of guys. So this is a good step up for us, just as we kind of go through the season. The way that we put together was you have a challenging game first, have some games where I can get some young guys in, get some talent guys in like we did last night or 2 nights ago against Ann Arbor, and now we have Cleveland State, and then we got another Lindenwood, Eastern, DePaul. So kind of just having the schedule kind of gradually build as we keep getting guys minutes and developing our strength in numbers.
There he is, the head coach of the Valpo men's basketball program, Roger Powell. Again, a big game on Tuesday night. Tickets at tickets.valpoathletics.com. Hope to see a big crowd out for an old conference rivalry renewed between Valpo and Cleveland State, and should be a fun one at the Arc. And we'll talk to you again next time on Valpo Basketball Weekly, presented by Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute.